Hey guys, how you doing? This is Captain Mike speaking. I'm just going to make a quick recording here since we're all kind of jumping on board or trying to jump on board with this ring counting. I've been practicing with it and doing fairly well. I have hit an albatross and come real close a couple other times on it. So I'm trying to learn it. But what I've done, and this will apply, I don't know if anything like this is available for Alper or not. That's why I really love the Droid. Because with the Droid, you have so much freedom to do some of your own programming and things like that. But it may be something similar in the Apple Store, I don't know. But in the Droid Store, in the Play Store, there's this app called Material Queue down here. And when you open it out, you can go up in here and you can set Add Overlay. And then you have the opportunity to go in and write your own programming for whatever overlay you want. Make it the way you want it. So what I've done, you see GC down here at the bottom right. The bottom of the second column, GC. So I'm going to open that up and see that overlay that appeared. Now the three little dots there to the top right of the GC, I can go in there and push edit. See, and I wrote this code in here in order to put these lines. See that grid line? I've got my big grid there and my smaller line up there in the top left in case I'm having trouble pulling to it or something. The problem I'm having with this thing and using the take shot button is with my big thumb. I keep accidentally pushing that take shot button when I'm trying to adjust for my rings, and that's making me lose time. And I'm learning anyway, so I need time. But this is the code I have here for this, and I'd be glad to share this code with anybody if you want to get this. And so what we do here is I just leave this app open. And I go into a game, and I've got my overlay there. I've got my shot there, and so I'm able to go in and play. I don't know if I'll win or not. Make sure I got my chart here. I can't hardly see this chart. I'm blind anyway. These numbers are small, but I'm still trying to learn. So we'll just go in here. Win, lose, I don't care. I just want to demonstrate this, what I'm doing. And so I go first. I've got a 7.7 win with a Thor's Hammer 7. I don't have a chart for my Apocalypse. I usually use my Apoc on this, but what I'll do here is I'll just go back here and use all my top spin. Set it up about there and use some curl. 7.7 on my Thor is going to be about 6.7 rings. So that's 5 rings right there. That's going to be about 6.7. I'm going to use a little bit of curl. Hit it perfect. And let's see if that adjusts right on this hole. And so it did. It adjusted just right. And I ended up in the rough. I didn't use enough curl. But you can see how that landed. It didn't go too far. And with a big tailwind on there, whenever I'm making a shot like that, with a huge tailwind, I often under adjust and go into the sand. And so for me, counting those rings, you see how I pulled it back to my grid line rather than pulling it back to the start button. Because every time I try to pull back to the start button, my big fat thumb accidentally pushes the take shot button. And then I lose time, and you see I'm kind of slow anyway because I'm still learning this. All I needed to do there was put a little bit more right curl on that, by the way, on that particular shot. That shot's very difficult to pull off in a headwind. If you've got a straight tailwind, you can pull that method of where I went shot off real good. Now I'm gonna have a rough iron, and I don't even have my rough iron on a chart here, so I'm just gonna have to do the best I can with this. It's just almost impossible to get that ball to go on over there and roll all the way to the thing. So I don't know how many rings here, so I'm just going to have to feel for it. And I great balled it, so I'm definitely going to miss that second island. So I missed the second island, so I'm going to have a chip shot here out of the rough. But really what I wanted to do here is on this game is just demonstrate to you how I'm using this grid here instead of the take shot button. Because if you're like me and you're trying to learn this, you're trying to adjust to that take shot button, and your big fat thumb accidentally hits the take shot button before you're finished making your adjustment. And then you end up losing time because you got to push the button again and get back, and you're already low on time, and it's just a mess. And so this grid keeps my thumb away from that take shot button because I use my grid to make my adjustment with. And I'm real happy with how that adjustment turned out for that drive. The mistake was on my part because I just simply didn't put enough right curl on that shot is all. So the mistake was on me. The ring turned out just fine. Turned out great. And so that was on me. I'll go ahead and let y'all watch me lose, just so y'all know, just so Saucy will know that that I do lose. I'll go ahead and do this because he likes to be assured of that sometimes, that I do actually lose on occasion. Looks like I actually knocked it in, so I'll just go ahead and Saucy, I really do lose sometimes. And I may lose on the shootout, so we'll see. But we'll go ahead and go to the shootout. I've noticed that on the shootouts, some of them the ring counting is working. On a couple of them, though, on these Tour 10 shootouts, and maybe on Tour 11 it'll be the same, the ring counting is not working good because they're on a lot of those shootouts, they're downhill and you have to over adjust. And so I hadn't figured out how to do the over adjustment percentages and how much percentage per hole and all of that. So I'm not doing great with the ring counting so far on the shootouts yet. But we may get that. Now this hole here is an interesting hole. It really changes. We got a side wind here, so I always go right down here, put my second bounce just right down there on the hole. And I use about 5 bottom spin. With that one head, a little bit of a headwind, I'm going to use about 5 and a smidge. And because of that huge left to right wind, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of left spin on it. I don't usually do that, but so let's see how this turns out. The idea is to get the second bounce right before the green and then let it trickle down toward the hole like that on that. And so I actually probably should have left that notch. You notice how I put a notch? I put 5 backspin in a notch. That's not even necessary on that. So I shouldn't have put that notch, extra notch of backspin on there. If I hadn't have put that extra notch on, it might have been either in the hole or close to the hole. With a headwind, I set up the same right way. I use 5 backspin. When you got a headwind, wind in your face, I use 5 backspin, except I put my second bounce kind of right in the middle of the fringe there. And then I do my adjustment, and then I do a little bit of overpower. Not a lot, just a slight hair of overpower in order to give it that extra push. Otherwise, you leave it short of the green. And so that's the way I'll play this hole when I've got a big headwind on me. We'll see how he turns out. He's going to turn out pretty good. So I think he got this one. Yeah, he got this one. So anyway, we'll see. No, I got it. I won. Okay, see, Saucy, I never lose. We'll see you on the next one, guys.